Now we'll discuss one important concept. That is the issue of NPA. But first we'll start with the you will find this term frequently in the newspapers until the year 2019. You will find this term frequently in the newspaper. So maybe this is an important topic for our examination purpose, and anytime this is an all-weather topic in economics, in banking, etc. And you know the condition of banking in our country right now. So this is capital adequacy ratio. So write the full form. Capital adequacy ratio. Capital adequacy ratio, or capital to risk weighted asset ratio, or capital to risk weighted asset ratio. Capital to risk weighted asset ratio. Capital to risk weighted asset ratio. This capital adequacy requirement. First of all, what's the meaning of capital adequacy? We need to understand this. It means we have adequate capital to cover all the losses. Losses of obviously banks. What are the losses of banks? NPAs, non-performing assets. And what are the assets of banks? Loans and advances. So if loans are not coming back, or they are not coming back on time, we can consider as a non-performing assets, because loans are the assets of banks, and if their assets are not performing, it means banks are not receiving timely interest payment as well as their principal amount. So it is known as assets. Capital, what's the capital? What's the meaning of capital? New Delhi. If I'll say define capital, come on. Funds. Labor and capital, remember the first class factors of production. So in order to fund any activity, we require capital. Capital is simply funding a certain kind of activity. So here whatever the capital with the bank in comparison to assets, what is the ratio? So capital to asset, this is the ratio we have to analyze. Here the same another name for this, capital to risk weighted asset ratio. They are more or less the same thing. If you will find CAR or CRAR, these are the same thing. But here the ratio is pretty well defined. This is capital adequacy ratio. It means our capital should be adequate in order to cover the losses. If your company is incurring loss, how will it pay? How will it repay? Obviously from its capital. If you are starting a business, you must have a plan of 4 or 5 years. Because in the initial year, you remember the word gestation period. In the initial years, a company cannot earn profit, because at the initial years, it has invested a lot of amount, maybe in capital investment, investing in a plant. You remember the example of 1956. India invested huge amount of capital in basic and heavy industries. So that capital. So what are the capitals of bank? Assets are simple. What are assets? Loans and advances. There are two other assets, but loans and advances is the most important asset. We'll discuss balance sheet in today's class, bank's balance sheet. So here capital adequacy ratio and capital to risk weighted asset ratio. Now the concept, known as Basel norms. You remember the discussion of Bank of International Settlement? So in the year 1988, first time Bank of International Settlement. This is the name of the committee, Banking Committee, Basel Committee on Banking Supervision. It suggested that we should have certain kind of norms in order to provide a cushion to the depositors in case of liquidation of any bank. You understand this sentence? Liquidation of bank means a bank is winding off the business. So there must be some guarantee given to the depositors that your money is safe. If you are having 13 lakh crore of stressed assets and 9.6 lakh crore of NPAs, but Indian people have still confidence in the banking system. How? Because Indian banking system is running on the sound principles. Now what is the meaning of this sound principles? So this Basel Committee on Banking Supervision gave some sound principles in order to do some prudence banking activities. Now what is the meaning of prudence? Kifayati, careful. So we will write few lines because a lot of terms I have introduced. So you have written the heading. So you write first one. It was first suggested by Basel Committee on Banking Supervision. It was first suggested by Basel Committee on Banking Supervision. Basel Committee on Banking Supervision, formed by क्या लिखोगे? Formed by Bank of International Settlement. Formed by Bank of International Settlement. In bracket you write headquartered at headquartered at Basel, Switzerland. Name of the city is Basel. A lot of people are saying Basel. That's a wrong pronunciation. Because if you are a big football fan, there's one football club, FC Basel. And if you are listening to the pronunciation of the commentator, from that I got the idea of Basel. So Basel norms, Bank of International Settlement, in bracket you write headquartered at Basel, Switzerland. You write like this, established in the year 1930. Sachin, can you repeat the sentence?
Sir, it was first suggested by Basel Committee on Banking Supervision, found by Bank of International Settlement.
Bas, found by Bank of International Settlement, popularly known as Basel norms. Popularly known as Basel norms. Full stop. First time. Now you write BCBS. Okay? First time BCBS suggested prudential norms for sound banking. Prudential norms for sound banking in the year 1988. In the year 1988, known as Basel I. This 1988. So now you write the next subheading, Basel I norms. In the year 1988, Basel I norms suggested certain prescribed guidelines, to carry out proper functioning of banking sector, by giving a cushion to the depositors, in case of liquidation of banks. According to Basel I, the minimum CAR should be 8%. Full stop. That's it for Basel I. Not very important, but the first step towards what? Prudential banking or sound banking system. What's the meaning of sound banking system? Means strong fundamentals. Now we have important one, Basel II. The year is 1998. I will discuss the ratio, we'll discuss Basel II extensively. So first one you write here, minimum capital requirement. Draw this flow chart, we'll discuss that. Minimum capital requirement. Second one you write, supervisory review. Second one is supervisory review. Third one is market discipline. Now write in a paragraph wise. Basel II is a reformed version. Of the previous norms. By giving a comprehensive and detailed version of sound banking principles, such as, then we write one by one, such as, first one is minimum capital requirement. Now just understand, we'll write later. What is minimum capital requirement? It means, suppose for example, if Basel II said that 9% should be your CAR, I'll make you write this 9%. It means if you are giving 100 crores of loan, you should have 9 crore of capital with you. By this analogy, you are able to maintain 9% CAR. It means your capital is adequate enough comparison to your risk weighted assets. There is a category of assets: secured, non-secured, doubtful, loans, NPA. Getting my point? We'll discuss this. So this is the concept. Minimum capital requirement. Now under minimum capital requirement, you draw like this and you write tier 1 capital and tier 2 capital. Do you have space? Tier 1 and tier 2 capital. There are two types of capital. We'll discuss in few minutes when we'll discuss formula to calculate CAR. So here minimum capital requirement is 9% according to Basel II. Previously it was 8%. Second one is your market discipline supervisory review. So it means regularly banks should have their supervisory review. Now who will review the banking principles or banking we can say banking functions, banking activities? Who is authorized to supervise that banking activity? Central bank. Because here we are not discussing only about India. So here we will write central bank. Whenever you are writing answer with reference to India, you should write RBI. Otherwise you will write central bank. So central bank is authorized to do a supervisory review. Now what do you understand by supervisory review? Any idea? Because RBI is authorized to control the banking system in India, as is the case with central bank of any other country. So RBI undertakes the task of reviewing the functioning of banks, public plus private, both, as well as foreign banks. So supervisory review must be a regular activity. So RBI will check that if banks are maintaining CAR or not, because this is voluntary. Right now this is voluntary, but according to RBI and according to Basel III norms, all the banks should shift to Basel III by March 2019. That is why this topic is of utmost importance, because banking sector is in news as well as the problems of NPA, and this is the important point in tackling the problem of NPA by having enough cushion in case of any liquidation of bank. Third one is your market discipline. What do you understand by market discipline? If I will say market, in the first class we had discussed what is market. Market mechanism, you remember? Market mechanism, demand, supply and prices. So if you are violating that principle of market mechanism, it means you are not doing things proper according to market discipline. Here market discipline means if RBI is saying that you have to maintain 4% CRR, then if you are not maintaining that 4% CRR, it means you are violating market discipline. You are lending beyond your limit. If in case of liquidation, what will happen? You will crave for bailout, and if there is no bailout, like for example, for private sector, government will never bail out. Getting my point? That is why private sector is charging more interest rate, except in deposit, but minimum deposit limit is 10,000 rupees. Your balance cannot go below 10,000 because they need cushion. In case of failure of some other public sector bank, government is there to back that bank. Getting my point? But in case of private sector, so we need cushion. So if we compare the excess reserve, now you understand the word excess reserve? I am not talking about required reserve, excess reserve. If you see the excess reserve of public sector and private sector bank, what do you think? The more number of excess reserve will come here, private or in public? Private, because they need more cushion. If we talk about the amount of NPA between public and private, what do you think? The amount of NPA is less in public or private? Private, because they are working on sound market mechanism. So you cannot violate this. Example 2008 subprime crisis. Before that, the boom happened in US economy. From the year dot-com bubble in 2000, after that 2001, 2002, the rates of, or the, we can say the real estate sector got boost at that time. What happened after that? Federal Reserve reduced CRR. SLR is not the concept in American economy. It's a rare concept of Indian economy. Talking about CRR, they reduced the CRR so that economy will expand. But what happened when you are running a scooty beyond 60 km per hour? So in 2008, what happened? Accident. Because economy went hayward. So market discipline is the most important thing in banking industry. You cannot offer the same interest rate to your prime and subprime borrowers. But what happened in America? They've given the same treatment to all the customers. Actually, some person, if an individual is not capable of living in a house of 1 crore, उसने 1 crore कभी देखा ही नहीं, and you are giving loan to that person of 1 crore, 1.5 crore, because you are thinking that economy is booming. If today is investing 1 crore, 1 and 1.5 crore, or he or she will get enough return so that he or she will repay that amount. Again, getting my point? You are violating market discipline. Okay? Are we clear about these 3 words? Minimum capital requirement, second is supervisory review, and third one is market discipline. They are not under the market discipline, because we cannot say if you are forwarding any loan below the MCLR, then this is the violation of market discipline, because you are not allowed to do this apart from your bank employees, because उनको incentive होता है. Bank employees can access loan at a cheaper rate, but apart from bank employees, you cannot offer a loan which is below MCLR. Then this is the violation, because this will create competition. You remember one day I have given one example that there's one magazine, monthly magazine, available in all the bookshops of 40 rupees. If someone is selling at 35 rupees, getting my point? All the people will approach that shop, because he is violating market discipline. But in 2-3 days, everyone will get to know about the change in the prices. So everyone will follow that price. Now everyone is selling at 35, either or irrespective of the losses they are incurring, but just not to lose their customer, they will sell at 35 for few days. But if the same shopkeeper is selling the same magazine at 45, no one will follow that. This is a concept of microeconomics oligopoly. So this is the violation if you are reducing. But you can charge higher interest rate. RBI is not saying anything. It depends on your cost benefit analysis. Okay? Any doubt in this? Nothing? So write the formula of CAR. I'll explain. This is the formula of CAR. Tier 1 plus Tier 2 capital divided by risk weighted assets. Do not write this second one, we'll discuss first. Tier 1 capital, you write first. Tier 1 capital is also known as core capital. Tier 1 capital is also known as core capital. Core capital, C-O-R-E. First off, in case of any crisis, banks can easily absorb losses. In case of crisis, banks can easily absorb losses by covering it from capital, without winding off its business. Right, tier 2. It is also known as secondary or subsidiary capital. Because in the case of crisis, banks have to wind off their business. In the event of liquidation. So in tier 1 you can write in a bracket few examples. Share capital and paid up capital. In tier 2 you write, physical assets. ठीक है? Any doubt in these definitions? I'll explain, don't worry, but first read. In tier 1 capital, banks are able to continue with their business. It means banks have enough absorption capacity to cover that losses. It means to cover that NPAs. So it means SBI, all the public sector banks which are experiencing high NPAs, high non-performing assets, but they are still functioning. It means they have enough tier 1 capital known as core capital in order to absorb that losses and continue with the business. So without winding off, that is why it is also known as core capital, most important capital. Tier 2 capital, we can say the example is 1993, New Bank of India merged into PNB. So New Bank of India exhausted all the options of tier 1 capital. Then tier 2 capital is the building of the bank, assets held by the bank. So they will take time in liquidation because of the problem of valuation. If any case of liquidation, you know the valuation is relatively low or very less. You will get around 50% of the value. Like you have purchased one car on day 1, and on day 2 or day 3, if you are thinking about selling that car, this car will come under the category of second hand car, and you will not get the perfect value. So valuation is a big problem in tier 2 capital. That is why it will take time. So in the liquidation process, if you are fulfilling your capital requirement with the help of this tier 2 capital, this will relate to the time period. But tier 1 capital, you can continue with the business. There is also one capital known as tier 3 capital, but not very important. I have given in the printed notes. Tier 3 capital is simply that capital you can put into that particular business in order to save that business. Suppose I am the owner of this bank. My bank is not performing well. I have exhausted tier 1 option. Again I have exhausted tier 2 option. And tier 3 option is my personal property, my personal wealth. I can put that amount of wealth into the bank in order to save that bank. But the most important concept in calculating CAR is because there is no chance that you will get to tier 3. The game will be over in tier 2. So risk weighted assets means the valuation of that loan into the risk. We will find this particular risk weighted asset. Getting my point? So if we compare this formula with the current scenario, if I am implementing recapitalization of 2.11 lakh crore, getting my point? Will it help in my numerator or denominator? I am recapitalizing public sector banks. Will it help in numerator or denominator? How many of you are saying denominator? Numerator? Everyone is saying unanimous option. Because when we are capitalizing some public sector bank, obviously it will go to tier 1 capital. But if talking about another factor, risk weighted assets, can you give me any example related to current scenario? What? NPS. But what is the solution to that NP? NP is a problem. Restructuring, yes. Insolvency and bankruptcy code. If I am giving more power to IBC, it will strengthen my denominator. So increasing numerator and decreasing denominator, you will get more comfortable number at CAR. Getting my point? Imagine here 100, here 10. What will happen? The figure will come 100. But if I will increase to 105 and here 7, obviously it will go beyond 100. This is just the example. So if numerator is increasing and denominator is decreasing, it will help Indian banking sector. Formula is important for this scenario. So I've connected this concept with the current scenario. Getting my point? Now according to RBI or according to many other big financial institutions, बताना valuation of that particular loan. Suppose I am giving loan to you. You are my subprime customer. So what will be the valuation of your loan? एक value निकलती है. Into risk, I will give you certain kind of valuation grades that you are my subprime customer. On the scale of 1 to 10, suppose I have given this is risk. If I am moving towards 10, my risk is increasing. So if you are a customer of 7, if your valuation of rupees 1000 crore, then your value will come 1000 into 7. If a customer is more risky, now you can understand the amount of risk. This is how you calculate the value of risk weighted assets. कभी पूछेंगे नहीं आपसे, इसलिए नहीं बताया मैंने, बट आपने पूछा तो बताना जरूरी है. ठीक है. Now RBI is saying that by going with this formula, first we should look into this formula. This formula is leverage ratio. What do you understand by leverage? In simple English term, leverage. Space, yes. It means I am giving you some kind of room. Like FRBM committee gave leverage that government should maintain or government can maintain fiscal deficit that have a room of 0.5% on both the sides. It means in case of any natural calamity, in case of any financial crisis that is not in the control of domestic government, then according to FRBM committee, there is a clause called escape clause. So the target for the year is, suppose for example 3% of fiscal deficit. Then that FRBN committee gave leverage that you can increase that fiscal deficit for that particular year beyond 0.5%. It means they will give you a room of 0.5% over and above. So according to inflation targeting, there is a leverage of 2% plus and minus. They are giving room. So people are saying that leverage ratio is the first signal. I'll give you one other example. In WPI and CPI, from where government is getting first signal? WPI. So this is the first step. If you are seeing that leverage ratio is going out of control, it means there may be some trouble in future. So the perfect ratio for this is 9% and for leverage is 3%. So tier 1 capital again same, divided by assets into 100. Total assets of bank. There are 3 kinds of assets. Everything. Assets includes investment in government securities, investment in building plant and machinery, whatever the bank is doing. Second is your deposits in other banks as well as in RBI. Third one is the most important, loans and advances. So all the total assets plus tier 1 capital divided by total assets into 100, because tier 1 capital is only including share capital, paid up capital. So now if your total assets are increasing, it is a good sign. But if your tier 1 capital is not increasing, it means you are investing in other than tier 1 capital. Getting my point? So leverage ratio is important. We'll write few points. We have written tier 1 and tier 2. So you write this formula. Do I need to explain this thing in the paragraph wise? I don't think so. This formula is self-explanatory. If I'll dictate the same, that tier 1 plus tier 2 divided by risk weighted. There's no point of discussion. Suppose for example you are earning 10,000 rupees per month. You are investing 6,000 in some saving bank deposit or FDRD and you are consuming 4,000. From tomorrow onwards you are getting 11,000 per month. So extra 1,000. So according to the maintenance of that ratio, you should save 600 rupees extra and you should consume 400 rupees extra. On the same ratio, if your income increases till 1 lakh rupees, what do you think? Your saving ratio will go up or your consumption ratio will go up? Saving ratio. Consumption. If your income is 1 lakh rupees, you are eating 4 chapatis. Next year you are earning 2 lakh rupees, you cannot eat 8 chapatis. Consumption. So savings will go up. We always say na, keep a surplus so that it will work in future, it will help in future. Daily wage earners क्या होता है, उनके पास कोई saving नहीं होती. Earning and consuming, that's the lifeline. That is why there is inequality. Rich are getting richer. Same thing. So if total assets are increasing and tier 1 capital is not increasing, so your leverage ratio will go down. So leverage ratio is 3%. You write few points. According to Basel II norms, starting capital. If you are starting a business like in 1969, 50 crore for those 14 banks. In 1980, 200 crores. RBI started with 5 crores in 1935. ठीक है, you write what? क्या? अच्छा, according to Basel II norms, CAR should be 9%. CAR should be 9%. CAR should be 9% to encounter any failure or destabilization, to encounter any failure and destabilization, in the bank's functioning, Basel II suggested three important pillars. First one you write? Yes, you will tell me. What was the first one? Minimum capital requirement. So first one you write minimum capital requirement. Second one, supervisory review. Write one line under supervisory review. Central Bank of a country should do a continuous review. Of banks functioning, so that banks will not violate any important market, bank should not violate any important provision. Given by BCBS, Basel Committee on Banking Supervision. Next line. Nowadays banks are preferring leverage ratio. You write this leverage ratio. Banks are preferring leverage ratio because it gives an early signals regarding any crisis in the working of banks. Now you write Basel III. Basel III norms are still in pipeline. To implement in Indian banking sector. Full stop. RBI gave a deadline of March 2019, RBI gave a deadline of March 2019 that all the banks should move towards Basel III. Move towards Basel III. Full stop. Basel III is different from its previous version. Is the different on the basis of tougher regulations, stricter norms, comma, important structure of capital requirement, with more focus on giving extra cushion by keeping in mind the volatility in banking sector. Full stop. Basel III suggested 9% CAR. Now you will ask that what's the difference? Why 9? In the previous Basel II, there was an internal ratio of 6:3 of that 9%. But in Basel III, we have 7:2. Not a very importance, but we just change the internal ratio of that CAR. Not very much of importance. So 9% CAR is still the minimum capital requirement for a particular bank by March 2019. So according to RBI guidelines, all the banks should shift towards Basel III from Basel II. When I start NPA in about 5 minutes, there are NPA, straight loan, doubtful assets and loss. This is yours. At 20%, 50%, not very of important. Data here, nothing. You can value that asset, but important point is risk weighted. How you will calculate risk? We have 0%, 10%, 20%, 50 and 100. That's what you are asking. Internal ratio will go in a deep, actually, not important for general studies. Internal ratio between the amount of capital, 7:2 in this. So tier 1 capital should be considered 7%. In Basel II, 6%. So we've changed, because beyond 9% it is very difficult for a bank to maintain. India is trying, like most of the banks in India are having 13% CAR. So we are in a comfortable position. But for every bank, 9% is the minimum. And Basel Committee on Banking Supervision is keeping every bank of the world in mind while making these kind of recommendations. So RBI has given around 6 years from 2013 to 2019 in order to move towards these Basel III norms.